A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars, New Jedi Order. Over a decade has passed since the embodiment of all Jedi clashed against the dark side at the Battle of Exegol. 1,000 generations of wisdom and power helped Rey Skywalker bring about an end to the Sith. Chosen individuals have now awoken to the mysteries of the Force. Strange a long time ago, and fates manifest across horizons, reborn with hope and promise. While the light rises, darkness answers. Skywalker departs the borders of known space in search of it, trusting the rebuilding of a new Jedi Order to her students. These paragons of the Force must bring about the dawn of new teachings, lay down the tenets of a reawakened philosophy, and found a new council to uphold peace and justice across the galaxy. Now, a vessel of the CHISS Ascendancy makes its final approach towards the planet of Ruusan, intent on making contact with the new heirs of the Force. We see blackness. We see infinite stars belonging to countless systems. And our vision pans down to reveal a large CHISS warship rumbling through space. It is the Moon Shadow. And as it moves into orbit, or rather in its orbit, it eclipses the red planet of Ruusan far below. From its hangars, scout shuttles streak out, wheeling in the void and turning to planetfall into the atmosphere to show a planet of blasted red rock with jutting spire-like mountains and impossibly deep ravines. And then we see darkness. Kai Oris, Beza, Aral, Ranan Voss, and Thul Oo. You see Master Skywalker. She is younger than you ever knew her, and she is standing in a cave. The spray of crashing waves informs you that this must be from her time on Acto. You can feel the island. She stands before a great wall. It is polished like Durasteel, and she can see her reflection within it. An order of her reflections span out behind her. When she clicks her fingers, the sound rolls through the cave like waves on the shore. She looks back and then to the mirrored surface once again, but this time she does not see an army of herself, but an entire order of Jedi looking back at her. And amongst them, there are your faces. To begin with, I would like Lloyd to describe Kai, what he looks like in this moment.
Kai is an Arcanian offshoot, sort of genetically created, a sort of experiment. He's tall, pale greyish skin, everything's sort of grey, except for the eyes, which are very golden. He's kind of older now. He's probably in his 50s, thereabouts. He stands not like you would think a Jedi would stand, so he's not standing sort of tall with shoulders back, and he's got a bit of a hunch, and he sort of busily fidgets with his hands. at most times. He has like a number of piercings from his previous life in the underground.
And beside you, standing shoulder to shoulder, we see an Ithorian. What does Thul Oo look like?
Yes, Thul is gangly. His legs come down and widen at the feet. Under his chin, he has strings of tangled beard. His eyes are bright and sharp and inquisitive. But like most Ithorians, his expression is hid behind a placid mask.
And beside the Ithorian stands a human woman. What does she look like?
Beza Iral holds herself, shoulders back, head up. She's something in her 20s. And she looks as though she's trying to look like she's supposed to be there. Perhaps the others can sense the ever-present uncertainty and second-guessing, which she continually tries to overcome.
And Nico, if you're there, what does Ranan Voss look like?
Ranan is pale, grey-skinned and has bleached white hair. It's long, braided up underneath her flowing red and gold robes. She spots like ornate cultural makeup on her face below her eyeless sockets. Appears humanoid in her middle years, of average height, languid, lean.
And as you all stand there, transfixed by this shared vision, you look about and you see faces, countless faces of those who came before, the Jedi Knights of the past. And they behold you. And then in unison, they close their eyes as yours open. A shared vision that all of you had dwelt upon shortly after departing the shuttle that you'd used to arrive on Ruusan. You had landed just outside of sensor detection, for it is known to you that there is a vast CHISS warship orbiting the planet. And in fact, many shuttle trips from this cruiser above indicates that there is a CHISS presence here on Ruusan. The landscape is blasted red rock, dotted with blasted silver trees. You know why you are here. These are your final instructions. Your master, Rey Skywalker, bid you to follow the coordinates left in your ARM-09 shuttle to bring you here to find critical resources and information on what it will take for the four of you to rebuild the Jedi Order. You have the exact coordinates upon your data pads. You know that there is an enclave that once belonged to the Jedi of old in ruins, not too far away. That is where you suspect Rey had meant you to go. And as you all snap out of this vision, you see, arcing overhead, another CHISS shuttle heading in the direction of those coordinates. Now, all that leaves me to do is ask, where do we go from here?
Kai would look around and sort of crack his neck and like blink his eyes a few times, and then take a deep breath and try and center himself and focus on the task. We're not far. We should move.
Thol will bob his head in a manner that he does to give his assurance or his compliance. Kai's instincts are always right, and he's always surprised how quickly he comes to his decisions.
Beza nods in agreement, although her eyes narrow as she tracks the CHISS ship across the sky with her gaze. It doesn't seem like coincidence that they are here as well.
Can't be coincidence.
There is no such thing.
He'll sort of nod at that, but give a side eye to Beza of like, there are no coincidences, huh?
It is indeed. It would be a vast coincidence indeed. The planet itself, upon your arrival, as you in fact witnessed, has a very turbulent connection to the Force. And upon arriving, it's what triggered that vision. This is a place of providence. And in the depths of your mind, it's like many voices are crying out to you.
It's too much inaction for Kai, standing here and waiting. And so, with no seeming decision being made, he's going to make the decision to just start moving in that direction, and hoping the others will follow.
And is your intention to head directly to the coordinates, or do you wish to head in a different direction? Really, you stand in a bit of a wasteland, it seems. If you like, you can do any checks that you feel are relevant to ascertain any more information about your surroundings, or perhaps any history to do with the place, or...
Yeah, I have planets. I mean, I'm trained in planets. So, like, what do I know of Ruusan?
Ruusan, and
sorry.
no, it's okay. Well, give us a roll.
Sure. So 13.
In your times of study, you would have read about many famous worlds that are scattered throughout the galaxy. Ruusan is very importantly connected with the history of the Jedi. It saw the final battle of the New Sith War, where Jedi Master Hoth took the battle to Darth Bane and brought the Sith's forces into ruin. later that this planet being recognized as somewhat of a force nexus was inhabited by the Jedi, who came to call a certain craggy outcrop, funnily enough, quite close to where you are, known as they gave it the name the Valley of the Jedi, which has also been an important location in the history of the galaxy. You know that it has the terrain that it does due to the last Sith War. It was a cataclysmic battle that brought most of the other life on this planet to an end.
Thol will turn to the others. Gilpa, Ukama. And noticing that his communicator has not been calibrated, he'll reach up and adjust the dials. Well, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, better. I know why Master Skywalker sent us here. It is a nexus planet, a nexus of the Force. And he seems to get very excited, as much as you could tell from an Ithorian.
Kai will look from him to Ranan, thinking that this is the sort of stuff that they usually talk about. And he usually tunes it out in favor of doing the thing.
From up here, Ranan's going to reach out and sense with the Force. And see what she can feel of the place they're approaching.
Yeah, if you'd like to give me a sense roll, that would be great.
12.
That was 12, was it?
Mm-hmm. I got a 1 on the black dice.
Oh, okay. So you reach out and you're able to tune the voices that seem to be echoing from this place. You manage to tune them out and you're able to focus. You sense that this nexus, its strongest point, is before you in the mountains ahead. But then something grips the corners of your mind. You see 1,000 ships above you. Laser fire falling like rain. And wherever it lands, lightsabers extinguished forever. Go ahead.
I was just going to clarify from that what I assume the CHISS. Is that the feeling I get?
This would have happened a long time ago. It's almost like you accidentally for a second with that one on the die tuned back into the planet's history and you see the devastation that was wrought.
I sense something coming from those mountains. Let's set the ship down just there, and she'll point through the screen, even though she can't see, towards where she means, to those who can see.
Sorry, so you want to take the ship there?
Is it a settlement we're going to, Rob? Like a village?
The Enclave, it would have been a settlement of Jedi at the time. Usually a structure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But considering you've seen CHISS shuttles like up and down this place, you can imagine that's where they've been going. But there is some sort of structure ahead in the mountains for sure.
Okay.
Now, if you want to take the shuttle, that would be absolutely fine. You landed just outside of sensor range, which would mean that the CHISS above in their ship basically scanning for any signatures of any kind. So if you were to fly directly there, then you would come under risk of discovery. Currently, you are hidden.
Ray gave us no orders about this being a mission of secrecy or like infiltration. So would it be fair to say that I don't care if the CHISS know we're here or not?
It's absolutely fair. The choice is there for you to, if you'd like to announce your presence to the CHISS, you can absolutely do so. And if you would like to land in secret, that is also an option.
Have we ever encountered the CHISS before? Like our part of the galaxy? Is there like history logs, detailing encounters between?
Yeah, there are CHISS dotted around the galaxy, and it could be that you have run into one, but it would have probably only been one. They are mainly a very secretive bunch. There are outcasts, as there are from any creed or alien race, or any race for that matter. But yeah, I mean, that they mainly hail from the unknown regions, which is a very isolated point on the edge of the galaxy.
Do we know their policy on like preemptive strikes? Or is that hidden knowledge?
That's a very good idea, actually. Let's think about this. I should actually just bring up a character sheet in reference for that. If there's a skill that you have to argue,
I have
knowledge of the CHISS.
Yes, I have xenology.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
So I can roll it. If you want.
Give us a roll of that. Why not?
Okay. I'm actually going to spend a character point because I feel like this is very important.
Yeah, for sure.
5 dice. Let's see, 11, 15, 16, 19. Yeah,
that's very, very good. And clearly, Thule is well read on the CHISS, at least to what most people know about them. That they wouldn't, to answer your question, would they do a preemptive strike? They would if it would benefit them. Certainly, they are very decisive race. They are cold, they are calculating, and they are ruthless. They are also quite xenophobic as well, believing that they are indeed better than any other race in the galaxy. And in fact, the further that one's species strays from humanoid, the worse they will feel towards you, which does not fill your heart with hope in that matter, Thule.
Yeah, these words are no words are spoken by Thule, but feelings which are palpable to my fellow Jedi towards our dealings with the CHISS, at least during this encounter.
Might be better to gain information before we encounter them if we go quietly. We can see what they're doing in the place, if they are indeed there, how they interact with each other, rather than calling down that gigantic ship.
Do they just have their own language? Presumably they do.
They do. Chisilla, I believe it's called. Could be wrong. But they do.
Beza kind of shrugs. We can at least watch them. Not that anyone will be able to understand them, unless you've all had lessons in Chisilla.
If you're looking at Thul, he'll like bob his head no.
We can gauge a lot from their body language, the way they interact with each other, the tone of their voices, a lot of things like that. I think it's still worth trying it. If we start up the ship now, we tell them that we are here, and they're clearly looking for something. Maybe it's us.
Do you propose we hail them?
No, I propose we hide. And that we go quietly by foot to this place, take what we need to get, come back here by foot, and try to leave quietly.
What if Ray meant for us to gather information from more than just the ruins? What if this is a missed opportunity to speak with the CHISS and learn from them? I mean, outside of just observation.
It would be nicer to speak with them from a position of strength, I think.
No, if we'll ever have a position of strength. They have fleets of massive ships. We have one terrible ship.
And the Force.
And no way to communicate. What good would hailing them do?
I'm certain they could speak out. We could communicate. We have data pads and comm links, and they're a highly advanced race who can certainly communicate with humanoids, Arcadians, and Miralukans. I have no doubt of that. Would that be fair to say, Rob?
Yep, 100% fair to say. Most civilized species can speak Galactic Basic, so there would be no reason to think otherwise.
That's my proposal. That we go quietly and we scope the situation out, and if we can, take what we need from that place and come back here quietly. And when we have what we need, whatever it is that Master Skywalker meant for us to get here, then we can come back to the ship and make a decision on the next thing.
So a stealthier approach on foot into the mountains to reach the Enclave. The journey will take a couple of hours. The terrain is treacherous, I can speak. There are blasted ravines that drop into the darkness. And the silver trees that are dotted around provide little shade from a fairly warm atmosphere. Is there anything that you wish to do on your approach up the mountain? Is there anything that you want to reach out to with the Force? And anything you wish to discuss?
I think Rana would walk in silence, listening and using her other senses to try and remain safe, but she'll respond if spoken to, otherwise will remain silent on the trudge to the crag.
Phil will gain purchase with the assistance of his long walking cane that almost comes to the bottom of his chin. He feels secure with it, steadying himself, moving amongst the jagged rocks. But he's looking for plant life, other things that he hasn't seen before. He's trying to sense their connection to this planet, on why this planet, amongst the thousands in the galaxy, the millions in the galaxy, that this one is strong with the Force.
Thul, would you like to make a sense check for me, please? Just roll with the Force for sense.
Absolutely. I got low dice. 8, 14 with 6 on the destiny die.
Yeah, as you muse about the natural fauna of this place, well, there isn't very much of it, but there are those silver trees. And as you ponder on this and reach out with the Force, you get the sense that the trees aren't dead, but neither are they really alive. It is almost as if the planet itself, the imbalance within the Force, is keeping all fauna in a state of stasis, almost.
Yes, this is this definitely stick with Thul, and he will be pondering this, I'm sure, in many sessions of meditation later.
Well, in that case, continued journey brings you up to the very top of the mountain, and whether it be just good luck or the Force, you are able to reach its summit and find some cover that looks down upon a flat plateau at the summit. Before you, you see a number of CHISS strike troopers. They wear black armor and visors that cross their blue faces that have beaming red pupils, optical sensors built into them. They appear to be holding a perimeter, and beyond them you see a landed shuttle. You think the one that you saw come in a few hours ago. And a vast stone door that appears to have been blasted away on an ancient-looking structure that is wrought into the side of the mountain, or at least a jagged spire that juts up from the plateau at its summit.
It's crude, but effective.
What now?
Looks like a military group.
Same missive as us. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, he nods. They're here to take what we want.
And bar our entrance.
Maybe they can be reasoned with.
We will not find that out by observation. Shall we approach them?
Do they outnumber us? How many are there?
So what you can
say?
see on this plateau, there are 8 CHISS strike troopers holding a perimeter. However, inside, you don't know, but you can see all sorts of equipment sort of neatly organized into various areas. You imagine these are excavation tools of some kind. There is also a sort of high-pitched crackling noise coming from within the blasted door. You imagine some kind of drill or something.
They're just going to destroy all that ancient stonework. They're just going to tear apart these ancient ruins with not a thought for the history of it. We should do something quickly.
Open to suggestions.
Ruusan will walk forward towards them.
Oh boy.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, fellow.
Okay. Anyone else?
Actions without words. So characteristic of my 2 companions. Yes, as I fall in line, wishing for them not to face this threat if it is alone.
Beza debates.
I would turn back towards you if you hesitate.
She does.
Come, we must go with them.
Shouldn't someone stay hidden in case they're, I don't know, imprisoned?
I look back. There's 8 of them.
That we see.
Remember what Master Skywalker said. Confidence. Trust in our abilities.
Very well. Beza will bring up the rear.
Freeze! A CHISS strike trooper sees Ruusan first, as you were the first to walk forward, and then takes one backward step as he realizes there's not one but 4 of you approaching. The CHISS strike troops form sort of like a semicircle in front of you, weapons trained, but not firing.
Ruusan will raise her palms and the intergalactic symbol of I have no weapons, which is of course a lie. And she will say to the man who said freeze, I wish to speak to your commander.
The Chiss sort of hesitates for a second, and with a sideways glance at one of his companions, gives a nod. One of the Chiss lowers the weapon, raises 2 fingers to his ear, and there is a whisper into a comlink. Stay there, the other Chiss says. And they just continue to hold weapons on you. It isn't long that from out of the blasted stone doors of the Enclave, there steps a figure, a Chiss that does not have a visor over his eyes or anything like that. You can see his sapphire skin shining in the red sun. He makes he's appears to be decorated as an officer of some kind. Makes his way through the semicircle and stands before you. What brings you here? He says in a rather condescending tone.
It's the same thing that has brought you here. We were ordered by our master to come to this place. It has long held meaning to the Jedi Order. Why are you here, sir?
He ignores the question and says, what do you know of the Jedi Order?
Little. That is why we are here. We must learn more as we've been bid. What do you know of them?
He sort of gives you a suspicious look, but then says, we have been able to compile quite a lot of information about the Jedi over the many years.
Why?
But this... Sorry, I missed that, Lloyd.
He would just say, why?
We feel it relevant to understand all cultures within this galaxy.
They're gone, though.
So they say.
Historians. Is this archaeology? He, points at the massive drill.
Yeah, now that you've actually moved out into the open, you can see through the blasted door, and you can see a half-circle room before you. There are 2 raised scaffolds that are pressed into the wall that support a laser drill that is firing a concentrated beam of light at another door beyond. It seems the Chiss have only really gotten into the entryway of this place. That's all you can really tell in the quick glance that you're able to sneak before this Chiss says, I am Captain Ludek Null. I am here from the Chiss Advance Fleet to ascertain the use of this place. We wish to know more about the Jedi. It would seem that their kind is often at the heart of many great movements within this galaxy's history. That's Ludek Null. Sorry, I'll put it in the chat.
Your soldiers commanded us not to go further, but this place is as much ours to investigate as yours. Will you command them to allow us to pass?
Huh. Well, we could absolutely allow you to pass, but I'm afraid you would have no luck, because we have been working on this for some time, and it would seem that nothing is able to break this door down.
Nothing yet.
Perhaps there is something that you know that we do not.
We could propose
But
a wager, maybe, that if we're able to open this gate or door somehow, that we get to go in first and decide what is important and get first dibs on anything we want to take with us. What do you think, Ludek? He'll say, with a grin.
The grin is, well, it's not returned. There is a cold, steely look from the red eyes of this Chiss. And he says, "It would not be for me to make such a wager. That would be for the Admiral."
Well, I propose that we try and gain access, and you try and gain access. And we will not inhibit you, and hope that you will leave us to our duty.
I propose a counter suggestion. You may, if you are somehow able to get through the door, you may go in first. But everything must be appraised before it is taken, an even split. You could leave us with nothing but trinkets, while you leave with something greater that you find within.
Yeah, but if we don't open the door for you, then you leave with nothing.
What greater thing are you expecting to find? Seems like a military operation.
All operations from the CHISS Ascendancy are military.
So then you're not holding out for a weapon.
As I understand it, from what little I know, the Jedi weren't one for weaponry, other than the one kind. And that is something we have little interest of. No, we wish for the knowledge that can be found within. After all, much can be told, even from the ruins, that races and orders leave behind.
Well, you won't stand in our way then, if we go and try and open the gate?
I will have to clear it with the Admiral. If you are happy to wait patiently, I will speak with her, and then get back to you.
If we do not and simply go about our business, will you defy us or kill us?
You see, the issue here that I see is that this is not a Chiss planet, in any sort of sense. You don't really have any jurisdiction here of any kind that I can understand, and so really it's just a cave, and we can go there if we want to, and if you harm us, it's murder. It wouldn't be very imperial
Nor ascendant.
We only concern ourselves with the way of the Chiss. If others were to interject, it would be unbecoming of us to let it go by.
well unbecoming.
Manon's going to walk towards the door.
Yeah,
You may look, but I promise you, there is no getting through that door. We have tried everything.
You have looked. I cannot see. And she'll walk off towards the door.
Yeah, he has no answer for that. He just sort of stands open-mouthed as you walk past. He makes no motion to stop you in any way. He firmly believes that nothing's getting through there.
As soon as we're away from them, in the space of transit between this conversation and the door, I look to the others. There is something special about this planet. The plant life. It is in some type of stasis. The source may be the temple, a power holding this place.
Kai wants to care. He's looking at Thule and sort of nodding with some level of enthusiasm, but he just doesn't care at the moment, because he's more focused on the very many military men behind them with guns pointed at them, and then the looming threat of the ship above, and so his brain won't let him think about the esoteric at the moment. Maybe we'll find out inside.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm talking to your back
Yeah.
as I kind of like wring my hands like close to my body, like trailing as you guys like march towards the door.
Beza like pats Thule on what amounts to a shoulder. Well, at least that would make a little more sense for why they're here. They don't exactly seem the historical type.
Yeah, I give a disapproving shake of my head towards the Chiss.
So as you've all made your way inside this place, there is something eerily familiar about the material that this door is made of. It is it shines almost like Durasteel, but is made of some kind of stone, a reflective stone. For a moment, it's almost as if you see the face of your master as you behold it. There is a distraction, though. The laser drill that is sort of erected on this tripod in front of it is just continually firing a laser into it to little effect.
Ruusan will reach a hand out towards the door where, like towards where the laser is arcing, and roll Force Alter to open the door.
As you reach out with the force, and please, by all means, make the roll and let me know what the result is.
16 and 6 on the Jedi die.
Oh, baby. It is like you see the face of your master within the reflection. As you reach out, you realize that this door has been opened within recent history. About 8 years ago.
What's recent history? Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it was opened by Rey Skywalker, your master. You begin to understand as you reach out that you cannot simply just move this door with a force. It must be connected with by, well, being connected with the person who closed it before. It becomes clear that each of you must connect in some way with your old master to open the door.
With her hand outstretched, coming to an understanding of this without turning her head to her companion, she will say, "Reach out to Master Rey. We need her. Without her, we will not pass."
They'll look at you inquisitively. But does not Rey reside in all of us? Her teachings, she has given them to us. All of us, in part. Maybe if we work together.
"Yes," says Renan, agreeing with the wisdom. "Search your feelings."
So each of you will need to connect to the door with the force in some method. And you must call on a previous experience or a final lesson. Something that Rey had given to you to in turn pass into the door to open it. Whoever would like to go first, go ahead.
Kai can't concentrate. He's like the noise of the laser. He's not good at this stuff. He tries to be good at it, but he's not. He doesn't have the same connection that like Thul or Rhiannon have to the Force. He sort of has like a natural ability, but hasn't like honed it because he's impatient. And so as he like gets down into a sitting position and sort of puts his hands on his thighs and closes his eyes, his right eye will open. He'll look in the direction of the laser and the insane noise of it, and struggle to sort of bring himself to calm. And he'll like look at the others to see what they're doing. He does this a lot. He's more than once like pretended to be meditating while the others are doing it, because he's not very talented at it.
The only thing that Rey gave to Rhiannon was her saber back after it was taken by the Republic Guard. So given that sentiment you imparted, Rob, Rhiannon will walk up and pull something from her, like the red sleeves of her robe, and put it up against the stone and make a way where there is none.
Seeing the two others act, Thul will reach out with his hand. The lessons that Rey has given him, let the power of the Force flow through him without hesitation. Do not think, but reach out, and he will try to alter the door, to push it aside, not to stop, not to think, but let the Force flow through him.
Beza steps forward so that she's closer to Rhiannon, and will close her eyes, pressing her, clasping her hands together as she tries her best to commit to an action, not to wonder if it is the correct choice to try and weigh it out, but to choose, to trust the Force and to trust those around her. And so then she will reach out, place a hand on Rhiannon's shoulder, and try and will the door to open.
The collective focus, the power of the Force reverberating through not only you, but the planet itself, is at one. There is a low rumbling as the door begins to slide on an ancient mechanism. And as it opens, there is a dark void before you. Wisps of vapor just pour out from it. Now the laser is out of contact with its measured firing distance. It deactivates. Dust falls from the ceiling and lands around you. And there is silence. But for the footsteps of 9 individuals that enter the hangar, the CHISS.
Rhiannon, can we close it?
Yeah, I assume so. Rey did. She'll just nod.
Yeah, and he'll like, now that something's happening and there's like pressure, he'll like close his eyes and immediately be able to like channel the Force. And my hope would be that we can close this door before they get here and we can spend some time in here without
they don't
like looking over our shoulders.
Just to be clear, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I just want to make note it's not like they're moving to attack. They're going to look. Like they haven't approached. They've come inside and they stop. But that's up to you. If you want to close it again, that's fine.
Well, yeah. So I mean, the thing is, I mean, as far as like Kai is concerned, like if they're in here with us, we're not going to get to take anything we want with us, or look at anything we want. They're going to like take control of the operation. And so if we can close this door, they were having such hassle getting into here anyway. We might have a little bit of time to like actually do some learning.
Yeah.
Start. Yeah, I agree, but I just want to state that if we do that, we run the risk of them, dangling us by, go back and taking our ship or waiting for us when we come out. Like I don't know if shutting them out will stop what you want to stop happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Thal would
I think it will
communicate
just
that in your mind.
aggravate them.
With a small shuttle being destroyed from orbit by warships, and us being trapped behind this, our only thing that stands between us and a horde of CHISS is a door that they can't open and we can't pass.
Yeah, he's like full of energy, and like he sort of like takes a deep breath and tries to calm himself from the path that he was going to go on, without thinking. And then we'll like look to the others. We should split and find what we can quickly if this place is big.
Agreed.
Yes.
Ludek, the captain, is standing there, sort of his mouth slightly agape. That you haven't been here 5 minutes, and you've done what they've been unable to do with technology for much longer, shall we say. And as you sort of commune through the Force these various ideas of what you're hoping to achieve, he stands forward and he says, "Step aside. You have served us well, and so we will remember that. But we have you outnumbered on a planet far from any civilized system."
I'm going to draw my lightsaber and attack.
Excellent. Da, 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 da. So, just to make you all aware, I've never run Hyperspace D6 before. So I'm just going to go through step by step so it can help me learn as well. I believe the first thing we need to do to ascertain initiative is for us all to roll perception.
Yes.
So if we bring up those.
Not ideal.
While we're doing this as well, does anyone have a link to the? For some reason, I can't find the actual character sheet of Hyperspace, and I would like it up for reference, so I'm seeing what you guys see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, and you do include your Destiny Jedi die.
Perfect.
If that is a 6 or a 1, then it is relevant. Otherwise, not so much. Yeah, Rob, have you ever had any hyperspace on your channel before?
No, this is the first. I'm very, very excited about it. For those that don't know, this is the system that Matt Click has created, sort of a love letter to the old D6 Star Wars game, but a slicker, more streamlined version. Hopefully, we'll get it right. I've got basically the combat basics open in front of me, so I should hopefully be able to run it straight from the book. Let's see. Okay, that's great.
And I believe, will you have like the link to Matt's channel or wherever people can find this game? Because it's what, open source, so people can just download it and go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I will happily do that. I will happily put the link into the description once this is over. So anyone watching after the fact, please feel free to check it out because they're great rules. Okay, so it looks like that Thul is going first. What do? You suddenly at your side see Kai activate his lightsaber. Oh, and before we need to get the important. What color?
I was actually going to say maybe like Thul feels it before it happens. If that makes
Definitely,
sense.
it does.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay.
So like he can feel that I'm about to do that, and so he, I think that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, Thul senses it, and he's always taking information in. It just comes ever flowing, unbidden sometimes, and he knows what will come next. As he will quickly reach out with the Force. He's going to take 2 actions, so I think each dice is reduced by 1.
That's right. Yes.
It's like drawing a lightsaber. That's not an action, right? That's just something you do, right?
No, you can just do it. Yeah.
Sweet. With his first action, he'll reach out with the Force to grab. This guy have like a sidearm? This captain?
Yes, he absolutely has a blaster at his side.
Yep. I will. I'm going to try to rip it free and throw it into the darkness of the temple behind us.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, make that. That would be an alter check to use the Force to pull it out of his hand, and he will try to resist.
Ooh. It's 11, but 1 on the destiny die.
Oh, okay. So you are successful in ripping the blaster that he is literally just drawing to level at you. It rips from his hand. However, what do we think the 1 does in that situation?
Maybe an accidental discharge.
That's a very good idea. Yeah. Okay. So, Lloyd, roll me a d6. If it's 1, 2, 3, it's going to fire towards you guys, and 4. If it's so it fires wildly at one of the CHISS. I'm going to make an attack. So because oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, I've just got to. Yeah, so the blaster pistol is wrenched from the captain's hand, but instead of it being thrown back into the tunnel, it actually hits sort of the scaffold at the side. The weapon misfires and strikes one of the CHISS troops right in the chest. He doesn't go down, but it obviously looks like it did a fair amount of punishment to him. He staggers, and you can see just a wave of sort of like alertness and combat readiness just fall over the CHISS as they sort of are preparing to attack. This is all happening in milliseconds, such as your reactions and perception. Is there anything else you'd like to do? You said 2 actions.
Yep. My second action will to close the distance to the first trooper. Thul's green lightsaber, the color of the plants he's so devoted to, springs to life. And he comes to the first one and just tries to strike him down quickly before he can raise his weapon.
Excellent. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, that's melee, correct? If we're just out of dueling, we're just mowing down mooks, kind of. Is that right?
That's exactly it.
Okay. 15.
Connects.
Excellent. So 4 damage dice.
Right? That's right.
Okay. So it's going to be 11, 10, 15 again.
And was that the one that had just been hit that you were going for?
No. So I'd break off towards the first trooper. I don't know how far they're like. I'm envisioning them coming up as a group. I don't think this guy would walk up and like communicate with us alone without like backup. So I'm sure his troopers are shortly behind him. So I would move towards the first one. Now that I've kind of like seeing that I've disarmed this one, or I I thought I was going to disarm him, like completely effectively. So I just move off then to strike a trooper.
Yeah, so then the closest one will be, because they're sort of coming in once again in sort of like that semicircle formation. So the closest one to you will be the one on the very left flank. So you'll absolutely be able to strike at him. You do so, and yeah, you hit him. What was the damage? Sorry,
It's 15.
15. Yeah, so your lightsaber basically just like slices into his shoulder basically, and he staggers back, and a yell echoes from under the visor that is on his face. But he's just holding it together, just able to stand as you swipe at him. Those are your two actions. So let's see. It is now Ranan.
Ranan will drop to her knees and put her hands up in a I surrender pose and force choke the CHISS so that he can't tell the ship up above of our treachery.
So that's a forced choke to Ludek Knoll, the captain.
Indeed.
Perfect. Forced choke, it would be alter.
13.
Okay. Yeah, so he reaches his hand up to his ear with two fingers to trigger his comm. He presses the button, but no voice escapes his throat as there's sort of a ripple in the force as his throat constricts, and you can see him almost lifted from his onto his tiptoes by the force of it. Is there anything else you wish to do?
No, just appear as if I'm surrendering while slowly suffocating this guy.
That's amazing. The CHISS strike troopers, however, have already seen a blaster bolt and a lightsaber attack, so that is more than enough for them to open fire upon those they deem a threat, and the first of which will be at Thul. So let me see what they have. Okay. So would you be using your lightsaber to deflect this? Because this is going to go up against your parry, I believe.
Yes.
Perfect. So let's see. So the first blaster bolt to streak towards you is an 11.
Okay, so I just roll my parry. Oh, okay, so I just compare it to my parry, which is 13. Is that
Excellent.
right?
Yeah, that's right. So you're able to deflect the first bolt as it flies towards you. And the second. And the third. What does it look like as Thul is able to deftly block the blasts that are sent towards you?
Yeah, sensing that his companions are not far behind and aiding his now beset trooper, he'll quickly wheel on them. The blade, the saber spinning, flashing in front of him in wide, kind of like deflecting arcs. You wouldn't think it from Thul, being just unassuming. His gait is weird. The way he stands, the way he moves, but now like it's taken on a new form, a deadly form, and he's spinning it deftly in front of him, deflecting these blaster bolts harmlessly away.
Incredible. Yeah. As they're opening fire upon you, more shots streak forward towards. These are going to go towards Kai. So they're going to fire upon you. It doesn't matter if your lightsaber's in your hand, you're fast enough to be able to activate it to deflect them if you wish.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yep, so this is going to be on your parry then. As you activate your lightsaber, as I'm curious, what color is it?
I hadn't even considered it.
Aha!
I'll go with blue.
Excellent. As your blue lightsaber ignites, the first blaster bolt to go towards you is a 12. Okay.
I've got 16 parry.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Nope. So the two that have gone towards you, what is it like when you defend yourself?
Yeah, he'll ignite the lightsaber, and so this is where he excels, and so it's like they're moving in slow motion. He can see them sort of like clumsily moving their blasters into. It's not clumsy, but to him it seems slow, and he's able to easily move his lightsaber into the correct positions to deflect those shots.
Yep, and they bounce back, flying out of the entrance, and then the last two shots. One is going to go for Beza. Are you defending yourself with a lightsaber or by other means?
Is all this kind of happening simultaneously? Because I don't know if I've had a turn to get my lightsaber up yet.
I think, to be honest, because Jedi are so fast, like if you shoot at them, they're able to basically be able to draw their weapon in time or react to whatever. It's going to be at whatever your defenses are at their prime, as it were. So it's up to you.
Then yes, I have a lightsaber.
Excellent. Oh man, that's 13.
Nope.
What color's your lightsaber?
It is purple.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. And then finally, the last shot is going to be at Rannon. How will you be defending yourself?
Oh, I'm not. I'm on my knees with my hands raised.
That's true.
I was next to Rannon. Can I defend her?
Sure. I'll roll it against your active lightsaber as you're next to 15.
Do I roll against it, or is that against my parry?
It's just against your parry.
My parry is 15.
So that means it fails. It does not make it. I'm pretty sure it's... Well, for now, we're going to say that if it doesn't surpass it, it doesn't work. So yeah, how is it that you're able to defend yourself and then your fellow Jedi?
It is that feeling of the Force which pulls the lightsaber to Beza's hand, and training or instinct which deflects the first, and then friendship which tells her, along with her instinct, to step in front of Rannon as she kneels with her hands still up.
Yeah, it's an impressive display, and it's probably a practice maneuver that you've become accustomed to, defending not only yourselves, but your fellow Jedi at your side. Beza, it is now your turn.
I would like to use my action to command them to drop their weapons.
Oh, okay.
Now, command in perception, not as in a mind control one, but
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So, as in, you're just going to roll for the skill command to tell them to drop the weapons. Okay.
She kind of releases her lightsaber, and it sheaths itself, and she'll speak calmly, evenly. You are outmatched. Surrender. You do not have to die.
And that's just to all of them, right?
Mm-hmm. I will roll my command. 17.
Okay. So the CHISS strike troopers instinctively sort of like almost like imperceptibly tilt their faces to their commander, who isn't saying anything and is just staring with a look of horror at the woman knelt before him. There is confusion, and they do not lower their weapons, but they do stop firing. We can take a pause in combat if there's anything that anyone wishes to do to either help this situation, or we can just continue as normal. Kai, it is your turn.
What's amazing about this is like that by the time he's ready to go, like all of this has happened already, and now in those moments he's had time to reconsider and think maybe that wasn't so wise. But now they're already on the course, and so what he's going to do is try and take the weapons away from the troopers. I'm going to try and use my, I think it's alter, is telekinesis.
That's right.
To pull the weapons from the guys.
Okay, so...
Or at least from one of them. As many as I can manage, I think, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, there's going to be 8 of them, but for each one that you... that you're going to try and disarm, I'm going to make it more difficult. So if you try and disarm all 8 of them, then it will be obviously much harder than you try and disarm all of them. But by all means, I think it's within your means.
Kai would hear the Beza's voice in his head as she connects to him with the Force, and then she just says, "The comm link, Kai."
Well, they would all have one.
Do they all have them, or just the commander?
You can make a very easy. Yeah, they would.
Everybody would have
100%.
one.
100%. Everyone would have them, particularly if you're a soldier. To remain in constant communication with your comrades is key.
Would it be easier to pull the helmets from their heads than the guns from their hands? Because they're not.
Oh, you mean like the visors that they're wearing?
Right, because I'm reckoning their comlink is in their helmet or whatever.
Yeah, that's let's say that, because they're putting their fingers to their ears, absolutely. So the band that goes around their faces for sure. Yeah, I'll say it's easier to do that.
Okay, I'm gonna try and do all of them.
Okay, I've got a set. I know I've got a set number. If you beat it, you beat it. Are you going to use?
I'm gonna use a force point.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man.
So that'll put me at 8 dice for this. Fuck, man, it's good. 35.
In the millisecond of time it was taking the CHISS strike troopers to look questioningly at their commander, each of them are wrenched forward by about 3 feet as each of their visors are just ripped from their heads, and they smash uselessly against the scaffold and the walls behind you, and some into the actual the opening as well. Terror strikes them completely as this happens all in one go. It's like a wave.
Enough now. Put the weapons down. No help is coming. He'll say, and that'll be the end of my turn.
And as we reach Ludek Knoll in the initiative, he, clutching his throat, is desperately trying to make some kind of hand movement down, as if like lower your weapons, waving it over and over again, down, down, whilst you can see tears are streaming from his red eyes. The CHISS take a moment and then lower their weapons, clearly perplexed and dazzled by the situation. Ludek continues to... It's just choking.
If no one is pointing weapons at us, I will walk forward and pull his comlink off, wherever it might be, and crunch it, and then step back.
Yeah, you absolutely can. Like, you can see his horrified eyes sort of following you as you walk up to him, and then like you just rip the comlink thing from his ear and just smash it on the ground. He is going to attempt to try. Well, I say attempt to. There's going to be another save he has to make to see if like he can try and like move within your grip. He still will be
Is that
choking to death.
opposed by my control?
It certainly is. Sorry, not your control. It is. Did I say control or
Oh,
alter?
alter, sorry. No,
yeah, it's
alter,
alter.
it
Yeah,
is.
alter.
Oh, not very good. 12.
Yeah, you've actually still got him gripped. But he's he's trying with all of his might to pull from this invisible force that holds him there, but he's not going anywhere for the moment. The CHISS seem to have been completely cowed by this situation.
This wasn't supposed to happen. But then you came in here and you made threats, and that was not a good thing to do. We had an agreement, and then you came in here and you started shouting about having us outnumbered and pointing guns at us. It's not a good way to do diplomacy.
It's like he's trying, but he still can't really talk with the grip.
And we don't tolerate being talked to that way or threatened. So perhaps we can try that again.
Yeah, he's desperately trying to nod in the grip, shaking his head up and down, sort of like you can see he's starting to twitch now. His blue complexion turning a violent purple.
I like that. I think that color suits him better, to be honest. I think I'll continue joking him.
You're going to continue?
Beza gives Renan kind of a sharp look.
We didn't kill any of them, did we?
No. One is very badly injured on the shoulder from a lightsaber strike. The other got shot by the discharge. All the others have just been basically just battered and confused by the Force. This will be the last opportunity. You see the life beginning to fade from the captain's eyes.
You hear Beza's voice in your head, Renan. Renan, there's no need for death.
I know. I'm only choking him to unconsciousness.
It is enough.
And unconsciousness greets him. His eyes sort of roll back in his head, and the nodding and the hand waving and everything just stops, and he is then just held there unconscious by his throat with the Force.
I'll stop pressuring his larynx once he drops unconscious to the ground, and at that instant I'll stand up.
Yeah, he hits the ground hard, and as he does, the CHISS take a step backwards.
Now, this is quite a delicate situation we find ourselves in. So what can we do to make sure it doesn't get bloody and no one dies?
The one of the CHISS on the far side of the semicircle steps forward. His visor no longer covering his red eyes. He makes eye contact with you. He says, "I am Corporal Rylick, and I would speak more favorably to you than the captain," he says with a worried look at his unconscious commanding officer.
Well, that would be ideal.
We did not know that you were Jedi. The captain did not know that you were Jedi.
No, that is abundantly clear. Is this how the CHISS usually do business? To make a deal and then simply ignore it?
With useless travelers encroaching on territory that we wish to make our own, then yes.
He's going to take a deep breath and he's going to look to the others to do the talking because he's going to get them in trouble again. He's going to sort of plead towards Thul or Ranan or Beza, someone to do the talking, because otherwise he's going to make it worse.
Yeah, Thul will deactivate his lightsaber and look to the trooper that he is wounded, and he will speak in basic to them. You must attend to your comrade. I have wounded him.
The wounded Chiss is sort of like has collapsed at this point, looking up at you with a horror in his eyes, not only at his injuries but at being bested by someone of your disposition, shall we say. But that's only something that you sense through the Force. It isn't something that he says. He's too frightened.
Yeah, I try to reach out with senses to like calm his emotions and kind of say, "It's all right. You did okay." Like,
I'll just let you do that for sure. Just to the wounded Chiss who's got 1 HP. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He sort of is like very, very troubled and perplexed by the abilities that you have that all of you have displayed. Corporal Rylek takes a further step back. You may have taken our comlinks, but it will not be long before the Moon Shadow understands that something is amiss. We give regular reports back, and he realizes what he says as he just says it.
Very good. Well, we'd like to speak with the Admiral. That's probably the best bet, I think. Can you do that?
Perhaps nothing is amiss. And Beza kind of looks at the corporal. You will give your scheduled reports as usual. And she'll do the hand wave, and I want to try and Jedi mind trick him into doing it.
Yeah, certainly. You can absolutely do that with a... would mind trick be sense or control?
I think sense is mind stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Then... oh, of course it is. Yeah, you're right. Yep, sense, please.
Okay, here we go. $15.
We shall make our usual reports and say that nothing is amiss.
Very good. You will make no mention of us.
He gives a nod to one of the CHISS troopers, strike troopers, who looks... I mean, this is just like multiple levels of confusion now because so much craziness has just happened to them in such a short space of time. It's just bewilderment. But the CHISS gives a nod and begins making his way to the shuttle. You imagine where there will still be a working means of communication to the ship above.
Basil will turn to the others. We should do our work and quickly.
Can we afford to leave them here at our backs? You've tricked one, but the other's 8.
Did that work on all 8 or just the one?
I mean, you said you wanted to mind trick him.
Okay.
They were willing to kill us.
There'll be retribution for this insult to their speciest pride.
That's very possible.
I think it's a certainty given their xenophobia, their ambition, and their actions thus far.
Renan is right. It is a foregone conclusion.
And what do we do about it?
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's get what we came here to get. Quickly, while they're... I'll keep guard here. I'm the least. And he, like, does a sort of gesture that's like book smart or something. I'll make sure none of them leave anywhere.
Beza will pick up the comm leak that was on the commander, lieutenant. I forgot the name. Whichever one. The one punches one.
Yeah, so Captain Ludek, that guy got knocked out. Yeah, you can take his comlink.
And I'll hold it to my ear to see if I can hear, and if it makes any sense to me.
So no one is speaking at this point, but it is active. It is live. If you were to hit the sort of the activation trigger or button, you imagine you would be able to connect with its frequency. Oh wait, no, his one was crushed.
Oh, was it crushed?
Yeah, Kai took it out of his ear and crushed it. There might be one working on the headsets, shall we say, the visors that were pulled from them. You can find one of those and learn that there's still an active one, but no one is speaking on it yet.
Okay, Beza will kind of affix it to her ear. We can at least determine if they're talking.
Saying that time is of the essence now, Thul will reach out with the force, reach out with his senses into the void of the temple to see if he can pinpoint why we have come here, why Rey has sent us to this planet.
Yeah, the only thing that you were told was that there would be a vast pool of resources and intelligence that you would be able to use to be sort of the foundations of your beginning to build the Jedi Order. Beyond that, there is a strong feeling coming from the open doorway. Indeed, it is like you're approaching the heart of the Nexus.
I'm using that as kind of like a waypoint. I head in that direction.
Yeah, as you move off, like it's very clear to you all, and you're able to sense sort of the surface thoughts of the CHISS that remain. They aren't going to do anything really at this point. And while Kai is standing there so close, they daren't make a move. They've only heard stories, really, of the Jedi, and all of those stories were confirmed in literally 5 seconds. So with your back to them, you feel fairly confident they're not going to follow you. Well, not immediately anyway. And you step into the darkness, into the vapors that are pouring from this place. Who else is going with? Are you all going? Is one remaining behind?
I'll stay with Kai and the chess. I don't like his odds against 9. And I can't see anyway to look, so I'll wait outside.
Beza shakes her head. We should all go.
If we leave them here, one of them will walk over to the shuttle and report what has happened, and then there will be 100 of them or 500 of them. Someone has to stay here. They're cowed. They're not going to do anything. Make them drop their weapons. They've just been terrified. I'm the least academic of us. Makes sense that I stay.
I'll follow through.
Okay, so Thule and Beza are going into the Enclave, or the deeper part of the Enclave. Rannan, are you content then to remain with Kai? Or are you going with?
Yep.
In the space of that
Yeah, I'll wait.
conversation, I think I'm like ahead of Beza, like being drawn by the force of this nexus.
Yeah. So the two of you step into darkness whilst your two comrades remain behind, keeping a stern eye on the CHISS. And while it is dark in here, you feel you are able to step surely, even though you are completely unable to see, trusting in your instincts, trusting in your sense. You find that you're moving through a tunnel. It does not dip into the mountain, it stays perfectly flat. But as you're walking through this mist, the light from the opening behind you seems to fade quickly. And the power of this nexus is only echoing stronger and stronger the deeper you walk through this tunnel. After a while, you're beginning to see cracks in the rocks of this place where small beams of red light from the red sun high up cast light on carvings upon the wall. You see a rudimentary carving of can only be a Jedi, standing triumphant, lightsaber held aloft, while a particularly menacing looking figure is reeling back in awe of this power. From your check earlier, Thule, this sort of matches up with Jedi Master Hoth's defeat of Darth Bane.
Yeah, Thule would consider this, these carvings, these statues, and he weighs it in the light of what he feels about the Jedi. A victory, yes, and probably a needful one, but he considers why it was glorified. That especially with everything Master Skywalker has taught him, the humbleness, the emptying of feelings or of personal gain.
Yeah, and your instincts serve you well in this matter, for it is clear these carvings were made much later in the history of this building's history. Rather like the Jedi becoming more and more celebratory of their actions as the years went by. But as you go deeper, there are less and less carvings, more basic just carvings to the point you're almost just in a cave, really. And then you see before you a opening that leads onto what looks like an observation platform where the floor sort of just drops away. There is a staircase that leads down into darkness. There is a old console that has been sort of rigged into sort of like the wall of the opening of this place opens up into this vast space. And it looks like it's sort of in sleep mode, essentially. But it does betray that there's some form of power source, a technological power source in here as well.
Yeah, this is the first moment that gives Thule pause as he now waits for Beza to catch up with him.
Beza does so, and she'll kind of sense and see this here, this power source. She gives a little kind of a grimace, like, and we have a winner. It's not weapons, it's power, right? You knew they weren't here for history. There's just no way.
I sense it. It is strong.
Yeah, you said something about a Nexus planet, right?
Yes. Strong with the Force. But can they use it?
How did they even know it was here? What is it?
I mean, when my senses give me any indication on what it is, or is it just...
Well, the console, it looks kind of just like a computer, really, an old computer. It's been rigged up onto the wall of this sort of observation platform that sort of looks into this sort of chasm of darkness.
Yeah, Thol's like as soon as he kind of is dealing with technology, he kind of like is very hesitant. Like he'll like tentatively like move a finger in to push a button and then like reconsider and then pull it back and then like do that, maybe choose a different button, pull it back, reconsider. As he I mean, this is probably like even grating on Beza, just like make a choice as he kind of gives way to whatever her decision is probably best.
Yeah, Beza will come over and I'll see if I can make heads or tails of it.
Certainly. Let's see. I believe there's some kind of computer skill here. Yeah, computers. If you want to make a computers check.
I will make a computers check. Do I get anything extra because it's a Jedi computer?
It's just a normal computer, but it doesn't look too difficult to. It doesn't look like it would be difficult to use.
12.
Yeah, you're able to sort of see that there's some kind of valve, power valve on it that once you're able to deactivate, powers up the console, and there is a as a hologram shines from it that sort of fills the space of the observation platform. And taking a step back, you see that the visage that is before you is of your master, Master Skywalker. She stands there looking forward into the recording, not seeing you, and an automated message begins to play. My students, as I have told you before, we withdrew from the New Republic so that you may be in isolation while I teach you. I have shown you much of the galaxy. But now it is time for you to see it yourself. I have brought many resources here to Ruusan, as it would be a safe place to conceal them. For only those connected with me through the Force would ever have access to this place. The hologram sort of crackles for a bit, as if the energy of it is barely able to keep it running. First, you will need to move through the galaxy as you see fit. This is my gift to you. There is a as a number of huge rigged lights activate to reveal that this observation platform is above a vast hangar. And within this hangar, you see a sleek-looking ship. It is angular, and it is painted in the trying to think of the right word. Not heraldry, but it is basically has sort of red markings along its grey hull. It is, and I have the actual name for it right here. It is an interceptor class corvette. You can make a roll on ships or anything like that to see if you know anything more about this kind of vessel.
Sure. Vehicles?
Yeah, I'm just looking myself. Yeah, I guess it would be.
I mean, is there a different one?
No, I think technical is, technical and vehicles, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we could do like pilot instead for mechanical.
I will let you choose whichever.
Okay. It's going to be technical. That is a 6 on the Destiny die, 12 total.
That is more than enough to tell you that this, like I say, so you know then that it is an interceptor class corvette. You sort of recall that there were sort of, although there's reports of certain Imperial and First Order vessels that were reacquisitioned by the New Republic at the end of the most recent conflict. Leading engineers of the New Republic were able to adapt these ships for New Republic design. You see emblazoned upon this vessel, however, is the symbol of the Jedi Order. And I will actually post the ship's information into the player guide.
Thank you.
But what runs through both of your minds whilst I add that to the doc when you see this vessel?
Yeah, Thal can't. It's not lost on Thal that the prophetic nature of receiving a ship when we desperately need one, but in regards to what it can do, its capabilities, how it will serve us. He's just looking blankly over at Beza. Such technology is, lost on Thal.
Beza looks at it and goes, it's a good ship. She kind of tilts her head and looks at the Jedi symbol. Maybe not the most subtle, but good.
You must tell the others.
Well, let's figure out what else we're here for.
Yeah, so for those curious, if you were to Google the Raider 2, not Interceptor, Raider 2 Corvette, this is essentially a smaller version of that. It is it has less weapons and isn't as heavily armored, but it is still a pretty incredible bit of technology. It has, you can see, obviously, a lot of places that could be on the ship that could be modified with extra weaponry and things like that. It looks pretty impressive. The message continues with Rey speaking, stating, on board you will find holocrons, intelligence, and other resources that you will need to rebuild the Jedi Order. I hope it is of use to you, as it was to me. And then the hologram flickers and then stops.
Kai and Rannon have communicators? Excellent. I wait for I like follow Beza onto the ship.
Yeah, I'll go down and like go to the ship, and on the way down communicate with Kai and Raynon. We've got a ship here inside if you want to leave our CHISS friends behind and come join us.
Is that wise?
You bring it out.
Beza kind of looks up and around because I'm sure this opens somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was just going to say you can absolutely see that there is like a sort of a vast hangar door that is sort of just in front of where the ship has been left.
Yeah, we've got a hangar, got a door. If you guys want to come in, we can hop on and make a quick escape. It might be easier than trying to load you on once the CHISS detect our ship.
What about all the things we're supposed to learn here and get here? What the resources?
They're on the ship. They're on the ship. I'm assuming Rob, that there's not like shelves worth of other things around. It was all on the ship.
No, it seems like this has been left here for the specific purpose of holding all of the resources and the intel that you will require.
Is this door obscured in some way? And I only consider this as why didn't the CHISS find the hangar door? Do I think it's, or do we need to like use the force to open the hangar door?
Well, it doesn't look. I mean, it looks like a hangar door from inside, but it could very well be concealed on the outside. It is difficult to tell from this side of the door.
Kai will squat down next to the commander, who maybe is like coming back to consciousness at this stage, or if not, he'll sort of like shake him a little until he does, and just say, "Remember that we did not kill you, and we could have. Just remember." And he'll say that to the other ones as well. And then he'll start to move towards the ship.
Runnan will turn off her comlink and say to Kai, "Do you think we should request an attendance with the Admiral?" And she'll point out of space.
I think that if we're ever going to speak with the Admiral, now is the best time to do it. The sooner
I agree.
after this incident, the better. The longer we leave it, the more it'll fester.
Indeed, and better to talk to him now of our own proactivity than for it to be at the tail end of an ambuscade. It does not sit well with me. I'm ill at ease to leave these CHISS here, despite your words to them. I don't believe that they would hold such standards of honor for we non-CHISS.
No,
would that be right, Commander? And she'll nudge him.
Oh, the unconscious guy?
I'll make him conscious again.
Yeah, I think you can pretty much do that. It's like snapping your fingers with the force, and suddenly he jolts awake, gasping for breath, clawing at his throat, but then realizing he can breathe again with deep breaths. He looks up aghast at you, and says, "What? Please have mercy."
We're going.
Of course. Take us to your Admiral. We wish to speak to them.
To take you?
At once, in your ship.
he sort of looks horrified around at his assembled men, and then looks back to you and says, I will have to clear it with the Admiral, but if you would allow me to speak. You understand, I will have to request access.
Can you put me through to him, as it were? He might be interested to talk to a Jedi.
Forgive me, her name is Admiral Mithara Dawn. But I will gladly open the line of communication if you would just let me live. He looks terrified for his life. He obviously would be if he'd just been choked unconscious by an invisible force.
Look to Kai with that face of, well, we have her name. What do you want to do?
I think if we get onto the CHISS gigantic ship and meet with the Admiral, I keep saying Admiral, and it doesn't go well, then we're in so much trouble. But I also think if we don't go now, then we can never go.
We're in lots of trouble, yeah.
But I think we should bring everyone. So why don't we...
I feel like if we bring everyone, then if it does go bad, we're all trapped.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to go up to the ship to talk to the Admiral. I mean,
right.
you could always see if there's a way of you... you could either speak to them from the comm from the shuttle, or alternatively, I mean, you guys now know that there's a ship down there. Maybe you'd want to do it from the ship you've just found. It's up to you.
Yeah, I guess they could have those hologram communicators.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think now's kind of our only chance to smooth this over, if it can even be smoothed.
Well, if you wanted to do it with the others present, then it might be an idea to hail the CHISS ship from the ship you've just found, or alternatively, you could use the one on the shuttle.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I'm leaning towards shuttle because I don't like the idea of giving our ship away just as we've got it.
Because it is kind of our ace in the hole in case we have to escape. Why don't we
take
exactly these boys to the shuttle, and I guess we don't want to say we have hostages, but we're trying to imply,
I don't think like these 9 dudes are going to be considered hostages. They've probably got billions of CHISS. Like they're just another CHISS, I assume if they're like an intergalactic powerhouse, there's billions of them, and they're not going to care for 9 at a chance to wipe out Jedi if wiping out Jedi is what they want to do. My plan out of character is that we should go in this shuttle with these guys onto the CHISS ship to speak to the Admiral there and try and broker something to both of our betterment, and then reconvene with our companions, or be incarcerated or killed. But better me or you or both of us than all 4 of us is my way of thinking.
Yeah. I agree. But I also think if it goes badly, then all 4 of us have the a better chance of getting off than one of us does.
Okay. If that's the case, then should we blow our ace in the hole and all just go for a visit in our new ship, or should I just ring her on the comm link?
The safer bet, it would seem, would be to open communications with the hologram, perhaps, or just by a comm link. It's entirely up to you. But if you do want to just go straight up to the CHISS ship, that is also an option. If you like, we can dwell on that and have a break if you want, because I think we're coming up on it. What do we say about that?
I could definitely use a little girl's room,
yeah. Yeah, okay. So what we'll do then, we'll have a quick 5 minutes, have a think about, and all this conversation, by the way, we can say you guys have all trained together with the Force. this could be like a shared thought process between you all. So feel free to chip in anyone who wants to make any suggestions on that. But yeah, okay, 5 minutes, guys. And for those watching, thank you ever so much for joining us here on Performance Check. This is Star Wars New Jedi Order. It is very much sort of an experiment using the Hyperspace D6 rules. Something I'm enjoying and learning, as you can probably tell. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back in a bit. So we're back, and at this stage, I'm going to ask Kai and Ranan, are you going to go down the tunnel to investigate the ship that's just been reported to you? Is there anything else that you wish to say to the CHISS? What's your next move?
If it's all right with you, Kai, I think we should take this guy's comlink, or the one that's not smashed, and try and hail the Admiral and talk to her while we're walking down to get into the ship and get off planet.
Yeah, I think that's...
What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I wonder, is it worth considering using our power to make all of these JIS who are here forget what they have seen? If that's even doable. But like,
I don't even know if that's possible. Well, it's possible through death, but like through the Force, can we do it? I don't know.
There's an echo through the Force. Words of one of the many Jedi that spoke through Rey as she, became the embodiment of all Jedi. All Jedi knowledge and wisdom could be channeled through her to you to give you a full picture of the Jedi Order. And somewhere from the depths of the past, you hear, with the Force, nothing is impossible. So it can be attempted.
With that being the case, it might be worth considering, like, reframing this encounter. That, there was a monster in here. There was, the people who had come here were like bounty hunters. Something, that explains why they were defeated, but not that we were Jedi. It's worth considering. The other thing is we just talk to them, to the Admiral now if we can.
My gut tells me I'd rather speak to her and like kind of with couching it with honesty rather than like an elaborate ploy. But I can see merit in what you're saying too.
Okay, let's just try.
Maybe we need to ask the others.
Let's get to the ship and then hail her from the ship.
And what about these blue guys?
Sorry, just to quickly check as well. Was it, just so I have it right, because you said it but I'm not sure if I caught it. Did you say that you wanted to destroy all of the comlinks left? And in that case, do you also mean the communication systems on their shuttle, so they can't make any contact?
No, we did send one guy to say everything's fine, right?
Which he absolutely did, yeah.
I think we can leave them here. The thing is, as soon as we leave, they're going to sprint to their communicator and say, "Oh God, help!"
Yes.
So maybe we just destroy that communicator as well.
Okay, so you want to clean up the communication? Buy ourselves some time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe I'll wander over to that shuttle while you keep an eye on them, and I will go in and like Kylo Ren the panel of the shuttle.
While you're in the ship doing that, I'm going to crouch down with this guy, probably still rubbing his throat. Will you come after us?
I cannot speak for my Admiral's orders, but I can say this. You will regret that.
Not killing you.
He swallows, and you can see there's not clear conviction behind those words. Remember, he was just choked unconscious.
I will fight every fiber of my being to not murder him and go with Kai down into the temple.
Yeah, the CHISS look horrified as Kai basically takes a lightsaber to the shuttle. When you say Kylo Renning, are you just literally like wiping out the console in the shuttle, or just delicately taking the communications out?
I wonder what's more. I think savagely attacking it will make them think less of us, like we're less clever, and that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like go in there and look at the controls of this ship and actually like take a quick look around and see if it's like similar enough to our own designs, or if there's like any notable differences in the way that they design ships.
Well, that's actually a very good point. I mean, the shuttle itself, designed where it does have an almost lambda shuttle kind of shape. I hope
yeah.
you know what I mean by that, with the wings, two on the sides that angle down, and the one that is straight up.
Yeah.
It kind of looks a little bit like that, but very much more alien. It's sleek and white. All edges seem to merge into one. There are no like corners on it or anything like that. It's a very sleek looking vessel. The CHISS are renowned for having technology beyond basically, well, in the upper echelons of anyone in the galaxy, really. Only perhaps rivaled by your kind and a few others.
Actually, do you know what I'll do before I destroy it? Is if they have a computer, like a nav computer.
Yeah, they certainly do on a shuttle.
Yes, then I will try and download that onto my datapad because it might have information about like routes in outer, what's it called, wild space.
Yes, that's a great idea. Okay, give me a. Let's see, bringing up the. Yeah, please.
Okay. Let's go 3. That's going to be 10.
Yeah, so you're able to get. You won't be able to download all intel of CHISS explored space, but I will say that you're able to get a history of what this shuttle has been doing. This is by no means the first planet it's landed on. In fact, there are many other planets listed on it. Dantooine, Onderon, Duxon, and there's a few others as well that I'll get back to you on.
Yeah.
But a list of a lot of them, and some that you really recognize.
Yeah, based on like the stuff we've been told, like those are Jedi specific locations where there were temples and things like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I'll download all that information as much as I can manage to get. I guess it's difficult with like a different language or whatever. And then I will, once I'm pretty confident that I've gotten all the useful stuff out of it, I'm just going to hack the panel totally to bits, leaving it like a smoking ruin as best that I can.
Yeah, you leave it, and for all intents and purposes, now that shuttle is now unflyable. It will take serious repair from the attack that you make. There's a as the lightsaber carves easily through the ornate advanced paneling, and then retreating back from it. Are you then both happy to go into the enclave?
Yeah, join the others.
So whilst that's been going on, then what would Thul and Beza have been doing at this point?
Yeah, Thul's confused by the ship and the power. Like the power of the Nexus certainly cannot be from this ship. So he is trying to investigate and dig deeper and find the true source.
Yeah, certainly. So you mean the source of the actual computer itself, or the
whatever is like he was drawn to this by the Force. He said like this is a strong pull of the Force. I guess is it just like the ship itself, or like what's inside?
Yeah, it's actually resonating from the area that the ship's been left in, rather than the console itself. Sure, it's you're currently within one of the mountains that makes up the heart of the Valley of the Jedi, which is the source of this turbulent connection with the Force that I described earlier. So that is effectively what you've been sensing, but Rey's presence has been sort of mixed in with that, and that's what's brought you here.
Excellent. Then I'd be searching the ship then for is there whatever Rey has left us then.
Yeah, certainly. So you'll have headed to the ship then to have a look. Beza, would you have done the same, or is there anything else that you would have done before checking the ship out?
No, Beza wants to be on the ship, like scanning through menus and powering at least the computer, not the engines up, because she doesn't want to set that power system up until they're ready to go in case someone could sense it.
Yes.
But just the computer part, she wants to turn on and see what on earth this thing is capable of. Does it have
that's That's the interesting
Poking.
thing, and you notice as you make your approach, whilst walking towards the ship, there is a as the landing platform descends from its underneath, and scaling the ramp, you find yourself in the main section of the ship. It is of a sleek design, of that of the Sinar manufacturing industry, which were famous for, like I mentioned before, building the ships for the Empire, and before that, the forces of the Republic. This ship, however, has been modified in a number of ways. Primarily, the main section of the ship, next to a mess hall, is what looks to be a small training dojo. This ship seems to have been converted into a training vessel for Jedi. But yeah, once you make your way to that computer, you're very careful not to power on any major systems. You're able to reroute auxiliary power into the computer, so you're not activating the main systems. You see that there are a number of key locations in the galaxy that have been sort of hard saved to the galactic map. There are a number of programmed subroutines that will allow a smaller crew to operate a ship like this. That said, sorry, go on.
How big is it? Like,
I was just about to say, actually. So let's just compare it to vessels that we know in Star Wars already. It would be probably only slightly, just a little bit larger than the Millennium Falcon. It is an interceptor corvette, which by nature means it's smaller than usual corvettes anyway. You can tell just by looking at it, it would be a highly maneuverable corvette at that. But space enough where there's sort of like a training section and various other areas of the ship and things like that included within. Is there anything else in particular that you're looking on the computer systems for, or anything?
stealth?
I mean, there's not really cloaking in Star Wars as such. You do notice that there is, a fairly, a very advanced sensor array whereby you can use the sensors to jam other ships' sensors. At least with the technological capability beneath that of this ship. You also see that it is rigged up with two complements of two quad-linked laser cannons, and also a concussive missile battery. You notice that there are a number of other emplacements that could be modified to include more if needs be.
Are there any droids on board?
Not that you can see.
Yeah, Phil will look at Beza. The others should be here soon. What are we going to do?
I think it's as you say that the Kai and Ranan arrive at the bottom of the ramp. You're able to take in the sight of this ship, and it looks fairly impressive. As you board, what do you guys want to do?
Kai will let out like a low whistle and look around a little bit before finding Beza and Thor. We should get this thing moving and going as quick as we can. We're going to try and hail the Admiral. Smooth things over as best we can.
Yes, this is a good idea.
All right then. He'll try and find his way to the wherever the comm station would be. Probably in the cockpit, I'd imagine.
Yep, absolutely.
The bridge.
Now, to make such a hail, you will need to activate full ship systems. You notice that there is a sort of like a control station that would open the door that is in front of the ship. Do you wish to make the call from being landed, or do you want to get airborne before you do so?
I guess like they'll see that we're hailing them from inside the mountain if they scan us.
Correct.
Which is probably better than seeing that we're hailing them from on a small ship in space.
Why don't we hail them through the comm link that Beza pilfered?
From one of the CHISS?
Yeah, I think she took one before she went into the temple, right, to listen into their comms.
Yeah.
So we could use that so we're not giving away our ship signal as soon as we get it.
That's a really good idea. If you like, I will allow you to make a... Let's see. Is computers the closest we have? I guess it is. Basically, allow you to make a check to reroute the communications through the... or do you just wish to use that comm link? It's up to you.
Yeah, just use that comm link.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm assuming that comm link to them will register as, oh, this is a CHISS officer's comm link. They might be a bit more, I don't know, receptive to like receiving the call.
Yeah, certainly.
Maybe not, I don't know.
No, it's up to you.
And Beza, I'll ask Beza if she can reroute or the comm link or access the CHISS ship through it, because I can't really use computers.
Sure, I'll try. Presumably,
Who's going to do the
comlink
talking to the admiral? Oh, sorry, go.
I was going to say, like, we can just like put it on speaker comm, basically, right?
Yeah, you absolutely can. It was just whether or not you wanted to do it all impressive and appear as a hologram upon their bridge, that sort of thing, or if you want to just, call them and be a bit. Yeah, it's up to you. That's the reason why I was asking if you wanted to actually like project yourselves there and be like, we present ourselves to you and sort of talk to them that way, rather than. It's up to you.
Now, I feel like Thule would be probably the most like level-headed, wise, and diplomatic, but he's also the one that they will hate the most because of their racial prejudice, which makes it really tricky. He's like a consular diplomat. They will hate him for it.
Well, I guess if we put it on speaker, we can all kind of...
Yeah, group dialogue.
I think...
Are you guys comfortable with that?
Yeah. Do we want
Yeah, that's fine.
hologram it?
The your suggestion earlier of showing them, look, we're Jedi, don't mess with us. It would suggest that a hologram might be more useful for that purpose, but it's entirely up to you.
Well, I think Kai would be pro that, but I can be convinced. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Excellent. Beza, then, you're in charge of the comms. I mean, just a rudimentary check will allow you to patch that into the HoloNet, which will allow you then to make an open hailing.
Yeah. Basic technology, computers.
Can you just roll with technology and things like that?
Yeah, you can just roll.
Of course you can. Yeah, absolutely. I would say whichever you prefer.
12.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. There is a moment of connection, and no image comes up first of all, but a voice. We are receiving communications, Moon Shadow.
We're
So
on
essentially, you've
speaker,
got an
right?
open, yeah. So you're on an open
Okay.
frequency, and it's clear that one of their communications officers have picked up the call.
Are you guys looking at me like to talk to them?
You're probably the most diplomatic.
Oh, okay, I'll do it. Yes. To the CHISS ship Moonshadow. This is the Jedis of this planet. We wish to speak to the Admiral.
There is a long silence, and it doesn't take the Force for you to know that there's obviously about a dozen checks being made on this line already, for this is not a usual greeting. The Admiral, the voice comes through. Please, wait one moment. And there is a pause. You're able to mute yourselves. Is there anything you wish to discuss before you speak with the Admiral?
Someone should put coordinates in for astrogation, should we need to make a quick getaway. Which I think is likely.
I'll assist Beza to do that. Can I assist in this game? Like add a die to Taylor or make her reduce
yes,
the DC
you
of her roll or
can.
something?
I believe everyone
makes sense.
assisting adds a further die, so at least I think that's what it was.
What are we trying to accomplish in this diplomacy? Just don't.
Well, that's what
kill
I was
us?
asking. Yeah, like, is there anything that you want to like convey, or anything you want to talk about? What you want to say to this Admiral before that happens?
My thought was we're trying to explain that, like, you know, this place and the stuff within it belongs to the Jedi, and so we've taken that because it belongs to the Jedi. We didn't kill any of your people despite their treachery after we made an agreement. So let's just keep things peaceful, I guess, you know?
Okay, see if they go for that.
Very well. Well, there is another short moment where your holograms appear upon a sleek, highly technologically advanced bridge, and aboard your vessel, a hologram sputters into life itself as well. You see standing before you, translucent in the grainy blue light, a CHISS decorated as what you can imagine to be an admiral's uniform. Is purely white with silver markings on both shoulder and lapel to denote rank. This is Admiral Mithara Dawn. We understand that there was a lapse in communication from the planet below. Reports say that some Jedi are making this call. Is this correct?
This is correct, Admiral. And I tried to do my best CHISS greeting based on my research. Like, if that's like whatever that is, like a bow or
Yeah,
something like that.
I imagine something just like a almost imperceptible like curt nod, something very utilitarian, which is returned surprisingly by the Admiral.
Wait, we're not on hologram though, are we?
She is, but we're not.
Oh, okay then.
Well, no, I thought you agreed that you would be a hologram. It's up to you.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah, we said we were.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, we are. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, I say, yes, your information is correct. We are Jedis, sojourning here to recover items requested by our master, the very powerful REY SKYWALKER.
There is a moment of pause where you see perhaps the slight flicker behind the eyes of Admiral Mithara Dawn before she gives a thin smile. Well, if that is indeed the case, it is an honor. It is an honor to make first contact with the Jedi after being away for so long. As we understand it, your kind are removed from the galaxy at present.
Yes, we have not yet moved in service of the burgeoning republic that is now forming within the galaxy. But when the time is right, our council will be called upon once again.
Is that so? And might I inquire what counsel would be sought of from you?
Wisdom,
Wisdom.
and declarations of peace. The galaxy has suffered many wars, and we are wary of them. And that will be our counsel to them.
The galaxy has suffered many civil wars, Jedi. Fighting among themselves. Clone and droid, rebellion and empire, resistance and first order, tumbling from power and destruction over and over again. Oh yes, we know of your wars. And your turbulent squabblings between yourselves. Is this what your counsel will be sought for? Wisdom on this?
With all new endeavors, we reassess the way forward. Yes, there has been mistakes in the past, but know that we mean to rectify them.
And would I be right in assuming that one of those mistakes you have made would be perhaps being responsible for the communications blackout that my excavation team have suffered?
Just a misunderstanding. Nothing more. Know that your men are safe.
Safe. And am I to take your word on that, Jedi?
Yeah, Thol definitely thinks that they are safe. Yes, most certainly, they are safe.
Well then, that is good news. I can tell that you're hailing from the surface of the planet. We have the Enclave on screen as we speak. I have a tactical display to my left here, and I, assuming that if you have made contact with my men, that would place you within the vicinity of the mountain. Am I wrong in this?
You are not.
Then do understand that if any harm has come to my men, there is nothing from stopping an orbital strike from leveling that mountain into dust.
Yes, but I have told you truthfully that they are safe, and you will be dooming your own men if such actions are your wishes. Know that we have heard of the CHISS and your ways, and we only mean to conduct peaceful negotiations.
Well, I imagine that you have other purposes in making this call. There is much that we would love to learn from you, Jedi. But that is why we are here. Our kind have a complicated relationship with what you call the Force. It is something that our kind is greatly interested in. Greatly interested indeed.
No, I'm sure there's much we could learn from one another.
Then I would invite you to an open diplomatic discussion. Perhaps there is mutual gain that can be found with a temporary alliance. Maybe even a permanent one.
Yes. I believe this is a wise and peaceful course of action.
Well, we on the Moon Shadow are open to receiving you.
I will discuss it with my fellow Jedi. Look forward to our communication shortly. Thank you, Admiral.
The thanks are all mine to give, Jedi. And with a thin, calculating smile, her visage disappears.
Oh God, at that, Thol immediately turns off his basic communicator and goes, and he's moving around the ship.
That was great.
You did well. You were able to keep it calm in a way that I would not have been capable of doing.
Deep breaths, Thul. You did really, really well.
There are so many of them. Oh.
Could you sense them all?
Yes. There is a maliciousness in her. I do not trust her.
No, indeed. Her whole kind seem determined to be double-crossing.
You can hardly judge an entire species by a handful. A handful of military, for that matter.
Their society is a military. Their whole civilization is paramilitaristic. And I believe we cannot judge them all based on those we've only recently encountered. But I agree that she seems malicious. And I do not think that a CHISS can ascend to admiralty if they can be trusted by others outside the CHISS.
I agree. Where could we possibly meet them that is safe for us? Nowhere. If we go into the ship, that is not safe. If we give them a location, they will come with 10,000 ships. I don't know that there's anything we can do, but they are desperate to learn about us. We could use that against them, maybe.
There is a sudden ka-dunk as something heavy and metal makes an impact within the back end of the ship.
I'll run there as quick as I can, which I think is very fast.
Yeah, you pace down the main corridor of this interceptor corvette, and you come to the area where you suspect the noise came from. There is a ka-dunk as another metallic sound echoes from a storage compartment that is set into the wall of the main mess area. Something is knocking against the door.
Yeah, he'll calm himself. If it's already on the ship, then he doesn't need to be too concerned. It's not like initially he thought it might have been like them firing on the mountain or something, and so he's able to calm himself, and then he's going to try and open the panel.
Yep, the panel slides open, and standing there, well, almost towering there, is a droid, looking down upon you with freshly activated eyes. "Hello," it says in a calm voice.
Hello yourself.
There is a short whirring as it appears the droid begins to scan you. "Ah, you have the biometric data that I was programmed to respond with. I must call you Master. Hello, Master. My name is Alexi. I'm here to assist you."
Right. Can I gauge by looking at them what their function is?
Yep, so this is a male-programmed LX droid. I'm just going to bring up the details because this is part of the resources that you have been given by REY SKYWALKER to help you on your mission. Bear with 1 second. I'm just trying to find where I've put that information. Let's see. Here we are. So if you like, you can make a roll if you have anything to do with droids or anything like that.
It's really not.
If you're its master, just command it to tell you what you need to know about itself.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What is your programming? What are you for?
As I said, my name is Alexi. I am a converted intelligence reconnaissance droid, left to you by the kind and benevolent Master Skywalker. I am here to help you retrieve all kinds of information from the galactic holonet. I have an impressive complement of 3 pro-droids that are programmed within my vicinity, with a reach-finding range that can reach neighboring systems.
Wow.
I'm also an excellent conversationalist.
Yes, you are. Fantastic. Well, we're in the middle of something, Alexi. Why don't you come with me?
I would be glad to, Master. Thank you.
You can drop the master. It's Kai.
Oh, he seems very put out by this. Very well. Kai.
Yeah, much better. All right, follow me.
He does, and he sort of walks sort of stiffly. You can see that this droid might not have moved for some time. Powering up when the ship systems had been. You can see he's actually pulling himself out of wires that have linked him into the main computer of the ship, and he follows you back to the cockpit. "Hello, Masters and Kai."
I found this. Him.
Can you fly this ship, droid?
"Oh, yes, Master. I could absolutely fly this ship if you so wished. But
We
my
do.
main
Prepared to leave.
My primary function, however, is to monitor communications from the probe droids that I can dispatch. But I can indeed fly the ship."
I'll turn to my fellow knights and say, are we in agreement? Should we leave and forego any further parley with the CHISS Admiral Dawn?
I look at you. We're not going to give her an answer?
I think without an answer, we will be fired upon if we try to leave.
Perhaps we
I trust your feelings. Sorry, you go.
Perhaps we suggest we will contact the CHISS at a later time.
Yes, let's do that. But what will we tell them? Where should we send them?
We will just say exactly that.
Let's arrange a meeting on a planet. Somewhere hard to bring a fleet to or land troops on.
Let's invite her to. Let's invite delegates from them to the Republic Senate.
Do we know who runs the Senate? Like the Republic, the bird, this fledgling republic that's forming, or is it?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say Beza probably knows.
Yeah,
Oh,
you'll
of
know.
course, your political connections. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just to explain then, the New Republic is currently based on Chandrila, Beza's home planet. Yeah, I mean, you'd be more than welcome to invite them to the heart of the New Republic.
My gut says that they haven't done that. Like, they could go there, like, if they wanted to, but they haven't done that. It looks like to me like their interest is in the Jedi and, like, not the Republic. And those are separate.
I
Yeah,
was just about to say, haven't those always been interwoven?
They have, in the same way that, like, in the Middle Ages, church and state were one thing. I think, like, one of Kai's big drives would be to separate those two things.
It makes
Right,
sense
okay.
if we're like hiding behind Republic skirts too.
Yes.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to do. They have the fleets of destroyers and cruisers. We have one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I get
Ferrari.
it. I think we need to. I don't know. Just
Why don't we tell them they can send one person to us, one researcher or philosopher or something, or general or something, one person, devoid of cons or anything else. That's the offer that we make. If they don't want to do that, that's fine. We'll just avoid them and they can avoid us.
Or we offer to meet them like on a Republic planet as we I don't know, give them some excuse about why.
Did you
Or-
say about their star charts? Maybe we can meet them at a planet they've already explored.
Yes. Or if they mentioned something about the Force and having a strange relationship, what if we trained one of them? If we told them we'll take one of your young Force
Force
users,
sensitives.
yeah, and we'll train them.
Yes.
But shouldn't we like have a meeting first before we offer that?
A meeting.
He said they didn't care about our lightsabers. They may not. They just trying to get information to eliminate us as a threat, so they could just roll over the galaxy.
It makes sense. Like statistically, we are the upper echelon commanders of like Republic armies
for all of
and
recorded
empires.
history. Yeah.
So if you're going to take over the galaxy, you want to get rid of the best generals in the galaxy, which is statistically the Jedi, right? So
Right.
from a military angle, I feel like genocide of the Jedi is probably a likely endeavor they want to pursue, because that's what I would want to do if I was them.
Like when Rey Skywalker can like save the galaxy on her own, then it feels like that would be a smart move.
Yeah, she's proved how redundant like fleets of hidden destroyers are, right? Like we all saw that. So that would be worrisome to the CHISS.
Yes. Well,
Which ties back to me agreeing with Thul's instinct that she's malicious and has bad designs for us.
mm-hmm. So what do we do with that?
We run.
Flee and ignore them.
Ignore them? Okay.
No,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
Beza's like shaking her head. She's like, the best way to interact with an enemy is not to ignore them, but to get to know them.
I would agree. I think if we can...
So Chandrila, a meeting? Oh, sorry.
I think our best bet is not to deal with the upper echelons of these people. They're lost to us already. They hate us. There's a possibility we can learn a lot about them, though, by taking one person. And that could be the offer. The Jedi are a reclusive order of monks who have separated themselves from politics in the galaxy. And now, if they want, they can send one person to join our order if they are Force sensitive.
That may provoke them to attack, knowing that they were just hermits.
Right. I mean, anything could provoke them to attack, though. If we try and leave now, I think they'll attack us as well.
Well, we have the advantage that they may not know our space lanes.
Right. I mean, if we can get into hyperspace, we're free, unless they have hyperspace tracking tech, which wasn't a thing, but maybe is for them. because that's always been the, you punch in the coordinates and you're free.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I mean, you have to get into orbit first to do that,
I mean, unless you're a really good pilot.
Right. I mean, you still want to be at least pointed at the sky, I think if you do it inside this mountain, we will explode.
Well, maybe we
You open
can,
the door.
under the auspices of negotiation, get off the planet, and then I know it's very deceptive. It's like, I don't think I would do it. Like,
I don't like it.
it's against my name. Like, but I feel like that is a plan. Like,
So let's level with what we have then. So at the moment, you do know that the CHISS have already admitted to you that they have a troubled and complicated relationship with the Force. So that is something that you could potentially say if you wanted to help them with that. You do also make a very valid point, and they have made very clear that they're very knowledgeable about previous events throughout galactic history, and all of them center around the changing of the tide, or the turning of the tide rather, with a Jedi at the forefront, meaning that would make you significant targets at the same time. So it's really how you want to balance that, because remember, if they know that about the Jedi, then perhaps they might want that on their side, or perhaps, like you say, they might want to just get rid of it. But that's really the big problem that we've got to work out right now.
Sorry, you go.
I would propose then that we say we want to keep this, if not friendly, at least neutral. And so let's agree to meet in a place, this planet that we know of, that is, I don't know, like difficult on a tech level, like a gas giant or something, a moon of a gas giant, where like tech doesn't work very well. That's their advantage and our disadvantage. We meet there with like, some luminaries of CHISS society or whatever. We can talk to them there, or we say, hey, you can give us one person and we'll train them in the Force. That's like a thing we offer them.
To be clear from the onset, if your intent, Lloyd, is for Kai to want to separate Jedi and governance, is that shared by you guys, Taylor and Dan?
So yeah,
if it is, should we just not hermitize ourselves and forgo all this? Like, isn't this non-separation of state and Jedi if we're getting involved in CHISS politics?
Yeah, well, we're
I don't know.
by choice.
I think that okay. So you got the logs from their planet, from their ship, right? That detailed other Jedi. And do I know these places as being Force nexuses?
Sorry, I was muted. Some of them are mainly significant in the history of the Jedi rather than all being nexuses. But they all were familiar to you because there's been some form of Jedi activity upon them.
So yeah, Thul's major goal is to like protect these nexuses. He feels that if they are like corrupted in any way, that the balance of the Force will shift in radical ways. So just based on what I've seen on this planet, like their just kind of callousness towards, coming here, I think they wouldn't have any problem doing whatever to these planets or these places, trampling over whatever to get what they want. So I feel like our confrontation, like in Thul's mind, is inevitable. But
yeah, I guess it doesn't have to be now when there's only 4 of us in one little ship.
I know, I agree.
Yeah.
I think escaping is our best option, but I mean, what will we gain from?
It just sours every future. Like, the thing that we have now is like a potential opportunity to be friendly with them, and that won't ever be the case again, I don't think,
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like the risk involved in this, or the cost involved in this, is possible or very likely betrayal from them.
Almost certainly.
We will, at some point, Beza kind of looks like presumably be at least visiting the new Senate of the Republic. Perhaps we recommend that while we are not going to be involved, they meet us there, as it is a neutral location since we have no allegiance to the Republic.
I think the issue with that is that, like, if they land on Chandrila, like, that's war, right? Well, I guess unless they sent, like, a delegation of, like, dignitaries or something.
Yeah, it would have to be like a delegation or
Yeah.
something. Like, it couldn't be...
Masters and Kai, I have a controversial suggestion that I could make to you. As I said, I am an intel and reconnaissance droid, and I have a healthy knowledge of, indeed, many phenomena throughout the galaxy. I have perhaps a suitable meeting location that a neutral, as you say, discussion could be held, if you would be interested.
Sure.
There is a place in the Outer Rim known as the Archon Nebula. It is a stellar nursery where new stars are being born. And it's due to this that it has many dangerous gases moving throughout it. Gases that would be ignited by any firing of any weapons whatsoever. If ships were to meet there, they would be forced to not open fire.
Kai will, like, look at the others with this sort of, like, huh? That's pretty good.
Yeah, Beza shrugs. Fine by me.
Renan?
I would rather take my chances, like, fleeing from them now and risk being shot by their ship than being a sitting duck inside a galactic space bomb that they could shoot us and just ignite us in.
But they'd also ignite themselves, right?
Not if they sent a droid to pilot their ship to do it or shot us from range.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that it's like a nebula, so, like, just super enormous, right? I guess there's always an end to it, though. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys are agreed, I don't want to be the stick in the craw. Let's go with it for the sake of expedience.
There is just one matter, though, Masters and Kai, and that is what's to stop them from doing that right now?
Nothing.
Our compliance with the Admiral's, like, demands or wishes is the only thing I can think of that would stop them if that was their intent right now.
They have requested our presence aboard their ship. I presume we will politely decline.
Yeah, we can tell them that she can come aboard our ship if she wishes, but that we won't be going on theirs. Maybe we'll just tell them we'll contact them soon. We have things to take care of. Religious duties, let's say.
Beza rolls her eyes. Didn't
that
I
wouldn't
say
be a
that
lie.
10 minutes ago?
That would be a lie, yes.
There will have to be something that will act as a bargaining chip to allow us to leave the planet at all, Alexei says. Perhaps your offer of extending some of your fabled Jedi knowledge to help them with whatever is troubling them with their connection to the Force.
That, or we could tell them we have the Jedi knowledge on board our ship, and to destroy us would be to make their endeavor here redundant.
Ah, excellent, Master.
You can call me Rannan.
Very well.
What will our decision be?
I think we offer them the opportunity to send one person with us and tell them that we'll meet them or contact them again
Later
soon.
Day. And trust that with what we have on board, they won't blow us out of the sky because they'll be shooting themselves in the foot.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, I think
mean,
so.
I'm happy with that if you guys are all happy with that.
Fine by me. See if it works.
Very well. So will you be reopening a frequency to continue the hologram conversation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the hologram sputters back to life. You see Admiral Mathara Dawn staring at you through the communication.
Thank you for your
So,
patience, Admiral.
oh, I can assure you, Jedi, I have all day. What are your terms? What have you discussed?
We have deliberated, and we have come to an agreement. First, why are you interested in the Jedi?
Well, seeing as I'm addressing a Jedi and to speak anything other than the truth would be foolish. So I will make clear that CHISS is intent with exploring planets like these and discovering more about your kind. The CHISS have a troubled connection with the Force. Only a handful of our kind have ever become Jedi in the whole history of learning to use the Force, as you call it. And even less have succeeded in becoming anything aligned with the orders of the Jedi or Sith, or any others that are out there in the galaxy. It seems that most CHISS who are blessed with the Force begin to lose their connection with it as they grow older. It is a curse of our kind. They lose all aspects that connect them with the Force other than slight precognitive ability when it comes to combat. We seek to repair this. And we are open with diplomatic relationship, with a diplomatic relationship with the Jedi to help us in this end. We did not expect to find you here.
It seems fortuitous that you have. I can honestly say I am not sure that we can solve your problem. But we have many, many centuries of Jedi knowledge and that knowledge of the Force. We are willing to accept one of your more talented Force users as a student.
And in return?
We only seek peaceful negotiations. You will halt your excavation of Jedi sites. These are sacred to us.
She gives a considered look towards you, Thol. And you can see sort of a lingering trace feeling of disgust upon her face from you, to be blunt. But that passes, and she smiles. There is someone of note that could benefit greatly from your teachings. It is true. But I would make it clear that this allegiance would be to the Jedi, and the Jedi alone, not to the Republic. We do not know your, if you were aligned with them or not. But should this relationship be used to enhance the New Republic's position with us in any way, well, then the deal will be off.
I accept these terms. Is your
And-
Force user with you?
Not with us, no. But if you would like to suggest a place where you can meet, I will be happy to arrange it.
Yes, we know of a planet. Narshada.
Narshada, hive of scum and villainy.
Do I know this is a planet held by like criminal syndicates?
Yeah, absolutely. Famously, the Hutts.
Yes. Yes, we consider this neutral territory, a place, though there is treacherous dealings, ours will be of an honest nature. Know this.
We shall see, Jedi. We shall see. I will make it clear to you that the CHISS have great plans for this galaxy. We have expanded our borders and will continue to do so. I make this known to you now so you understand our position.
That is something for the Republic to consider.
You notice that there is almost a look of victory upon her face as you say this. Very well. We shall send our initiate to Nar Shaddaa. She will be dropped there with a contingent of strike troopers to ensure that this isn't some ploy. But after that, they will be there for you to teach.
I nod in recognition of this.
There is one additional point I would like to make to seal this deal. We would like updates, regular updates on their progress and their position.
I nod again.
Kai will cut across. No, unacceptable. Their condition, yes. Their position, no.
You can see that the Admiral was pushing for this and did not expect that to be a yes. So concedes that, but says, very well. But your reports on their progress, we expect them to be detailed, thorough, and truthful. Any deception, we will find out.
Beta steps forward. The information passed along to you will be appropriate, necessary. That is all.
And this student will not be bound to the Jedi Order. They will be taking your tutelage as a means to help other CHISS of the Ascendancy. Is this clear?
Basil looks at Renan. A student who enters the tutelage of the Jedi agrees to join the Jedi Order as it is.
And more than that, the teaching of our techniques is extremely complex, requires a lifetime of study, and without our help will be impossible. And so whatever techniques they do learn, if it is possible to fix these issues that your kind have with the Force, they will be kept by the Jedi.
The reason we are dispatching this individual to you is to help all of our kind. It will be made clear to them that while they are indeed sharing in the knowledge of the Jedi, it will be to help our people.
The helping of your people is not something we're opposed to. The using of the Force to commit some galactic war is something we are opposed to. And there is a difference there. Though any student who learns properly will understand this. We're not concerned.
Ignoring the matter that many galactic wars have been started by those of your kind, I accept your terms. You will be allowed to leave Ruusan, and we will dispatch this individual to you to learn from you. Under the condition that that this remains out of the hands of the New Republic, which, as I understand it, is something that you are intent on.
We only seek peace in our galaxy. If the Republic is the shortest route to that, so be it.
Then you will begin the cycle all over.
You misunderstand, Admiral. Our relations with the Republic are not those of allegiance, but those of diplomacy.
Very well. Unless you have no other terms,
we will furnish reports to you. However, you should understand that due to the nature of our teachings and our solitude, they may be infrequent at best.
sorry, Taylor, did you say that the reports of the students would be infrequent?
At best.
This is not acceptable.
That's the offer that we're giving. If you want to cure the force sickness that's among your people, then this is the option that you have. We sequester ourselves on remote planets and we try to eschew technology as much as we can, and that means that perhaps our communications will be less frequent than you would hope. And we'll still endeavor to send them as frequently as we can.
It is said that with the climb in technological advancement, our kind did leave things behind. And it's almost like she's saying that more to herself than to you. Very well. But you will make the effort to make contact with us. This is a show of faith from the CHISS Ascendancy to the Jedi Order. I will show it all due respect, as I hope you will too.
Absolutely.
Then you will hear from us presently, Jedi. And the communication blacks out.
Charming woman. Let's get out of here.
Yep, so you're absolutely able to power up the systems. It's almost like the ship has been cross-wired in hundreds of different ways upon closer examination to see that this is a ship that will basically keep running until the very end. So you can chop and change which systems are active at a time. Highly advanced and very utilitarian as well. Powering up the I've just gone on a blank on what the engines are called. Not the hyperdrive, the thrusters. You are absolutely able to prepare the ship to disembark. I would say that you're able to open the doors, and it is clear to you that there has been some kind of efforts to make this hangar door disguised from the side of the mountain. Is there anywhere that you want to put into the navicomputer before you take off?
Basil will put in some relatively empty planet. Maybe a system away from, just one or two hyper jumps away from where they will probably return to where they've been training, just in case.
Maybe something that has a small kind of republic presence.
I think it would be safer to go like into the middle of the Republic, where there's lots of ships and lots of people, so they can't follow us if they can track us somehow, you know?
Yeah, if you're worried about them following your trajectory, a common tactic can be to jump to deep space, then change trajectory, and then jump again. So if you want to just jump into deep space in mid-rim, where you are at the moment, we can make that call from there.
Yeah.
Excellent. So powering up, who's piloting, or is that?
The droid.
The droid, okay.
Piloting, honestly.
Yep. So Alexei hops into the flight seat, flicks some switches overhead. You can feel the reverberation of power rocking through this ship as suddenly it takes flight and belts forward out of the hangar and into the sky. The interceptor corvette, which at some point you're going to need to come up with a name for, it streaks through the air and is out of atmosphere within moments. You see that you are beneath the colossal moon shadow, and there is the ever-present feeling, an easy feeling about being so close to such a destructive and technologically advanced ship. But it isn't long before Alexei is able to power up the hyperdrive and punch it. And as the stars elongate, sending you into deep space, that is where we're going to leave this session. And we'll see what happens next time. So, thank you ever so much, you guys, for playing. I had a real blast with that. That was really good fun. And thank you to everyone who watched as well. If you like this video, like it. If you want to see more like it, hit subscribe. And what is it I used to say? It shows how often I do this now. And of course, yeah, but I can't do that. So, yeah, let's just hope that all of your performances are up to standard. Take it easy. Bye.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Wait.